Good day, good people. Welcome to the MathHub Mathematics Institute Nasendi. In today's lesson, tikuda practice change of units, tichishandisa that particular question, which was written ZIMSEC November 2016, and it was a paper 1. Kureva kuti we are not expected to use a calculator. So of course I'm going to start with A. A iri kuti 61.7 degrees in degrees and minutes. Saka chatofanga kuziva panapa chekutanga ndechekuti 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. Like that. Ndo chatofanga kutanga kuziva. So that statement is going to be material to the working we are going to have. We have many methods of working through this, but I only want to present this method because I think it's very sacrosanct. So what we do in this particular method, we take 61.7 degrees and we are going to break it up. 61.7 degrees is equal to 61 degrees plus 0.7 degrees. Very important to note, kuti the 61 part is in degrees, the 0.7 part also in degrees. And of course, if we say 61 plus 0.7, inotidzosera ku 61.7, saka kuita break up kwataita uko hapana patakanganisa mathematically speaking. Then zvadaro manje, this part ya 61 degrees, it's already in degrees. Saka pati inoi inenge yakatonaka. Tangosarwa nekuconverta 0.7 degrees to minutes. That is what we want to do. Saka converting 0.7 degrees to minutes, we can branch off into many ways of killing this particular cat. But what I want us to do is this. Let us use proportion. Saka, I recommend you communicate with your marker kuti muri kuite at any given point. Kukosha kwa zvakaita, let me bring you in on something. Mamakiro anoita ZIMSEC, especially paper 1. Anti munonyora, it's a few in paper. Saka, you are going to be writing your workings, of course, because the instruction is show all working. Then mune space ya munonyora your answer. Saka, what they do is they take those answer sheets, then they run them through a computer system. System ichasvika ichimaka all the correct answers. Saka system haitarisi working, inongonotarisa ku answer. If it is correct, your marker. If it is not correct, your checker. Then the system produces a mark. Let us say you get 62 out of 100. Correct, you got 62 marks correct out of 100 marks. Then pachazoita ma markers vachatarisa your work. Votanga kutarisa ma questions ese achekwa. Pama questions achekwa, votanga ku consider the working. Because ZIMSEC in a method mark policy. Kureva kuti they also consider the method you did. Kana masvika in your method, kana maratidza satisfactory knowledge, they are going to award marks. Kureva kuti ma questions anema 2 marks. If your method is right, let us say you had a small mistake, maybe 3 times 3 to the power 2 to you was 6 instead of 9. They are going to award 1 mark out of 2. Saka, learning how to communicate your working correctly saves you when it comes to this situation. Because kana mukanyora basa renyu ringori escata, they are not going to be able to follow it. And if they cannot follow it, they cannot award method marks. So panapa, writing just a small sentence, it's not going to take you much. Kungoti, converting 0.7 degrees to minutes. Very small sentence like this. Mapona. Saka panapa, you can go about two different methods. I want to present them both. Method 1 can be just logical, kana kuti intuitive. Kana 1 degree iri 60 minutes, 0.7 degrees inenge iri chi. Saka in your working you can take 0.7 degrees, then write it like this, 0.7 times 1 degree. This is a witty way of representing it. Kuti if we make a sense naturally, kuti this is going to be 0.7 times, then since to converter from degrees to minutes, this 1 degree is going to be 60 minutes. Like this. Saka panapa 0.7 as a fraction, the 7 over 10. Remember the decimal point system, which I am at tens. Then 7 over 10 is multiplying 60 minutes. Of course, there's a cancelling up here. And what is 7 times 6? That's 42. So it's 42 minutes. Saka here, your answer would be therefore 61.7 degrees is equal to 61 degrees 42 minutes. That's the first method of looking at it. But if you are someone like me, asingafariri kufunga sterek, you can utilize proportion. Saka proportion inoti chi, we need two statements of proportion. The first statement is the true statement. What is the true statement? 1 degree is 60 minutes. Then the second statement is going to be what we want to answer. We want to convert 0.7 degrees to minutes. Kurewa kuti 0.7 degrees will be x minutes. And please, for your statements of proportion, try to put in the units, because it's a guideline. My units are not good. On either side, it's not the same unit. Like in our case, ku left kunema degrees, ku right kunema minutes. That is one sure way of cross-checking with my statements of proportion enyu mamanyora correctly. Then of course, this is going to be an equation. 1 over 0.7 is equal to 60 over x. After cross multiplication, x will be equal to 0.7 times 60. And mukatarisisa mchaona kuti tinenge tadzokera apo. Kureva kuti solving it brings us to 60 degrees 42 minutes. That's how it's done. So what is important? The ability to break up panapa is very, very important. That is the way to go. Okay, we have done A. Question yatanyanya kuvinga i B, so let us do B. When it comes to B iri kuti 11 and 2/3 meters per second in kilometers per hour. Saka method yatakambodzidzisa trikuda 11 2/3 meters per second. Of course, tichada kuexpressa this mixed number as an improper fraction. 3 times 11 is 33 plus 2, 34, 35. So it's 35 over 3 meters per second. Method atakadzidzisa in our previous tutorial, I think it's tutorial 1, change of units. Takati, we are going to take, let me write it in red because this is not the method I want to teach today. Takati, we are going to take 35 over 3 meters per second. Andika? Tovatati, what does this really mean? This means 35 over 3 meters over 1 second. Saka mistake ya George iri panapa. Kusaziva kuti that 35 over 3 meters, but trikuti per second. Korewa kuti the second part should be 1. And if you go along with this one, muchishandisa the method we did, I'm going to give you this as a task. Or I think we are also going to do it after method yandoda kuita. We are going to see that you are going to produce the correct answer. Of course, panapa menge makutora 35 over 3 meters moiconverta to kilometers, motora 1 second, moiconverta to hours, then move masolve in such a way yekuti your hours become a unit, and then you have your kilometers per hour. But that is not what I want to teach, because kana pakauya ma decimals and fractions, it will become a little confusing. Like that statement munogona kunge really corny to you. So the method I want to teach today, and I want you to pay close attention, and I so wish that this is going to be our modus operandi whenever we are converting speeds, is this one. Mukanzi muconverte meters per second in kilometers per hour, muchada iso. The first statement is muchati converting 1 meter per second to kilometers per hour. Saka muchatanga ne a unit, moda converter 1 meter per second to kilometers per hour. Why did she recommend this? Because it's easier to do. Then yamchawana, that general statement yamchawana, you are then going to multiply it with 35/3 and get your final answer. Again, this is a paper one, so no calculator. Sakapana patri kuti 1 meter per second. What does it mean? It means 1 meter over 1 second. That is what it means. And did it. But meaning 1 meter over 1 second, we can convert this 1 meter to kilometers. Sakapano mugona kuemploy our chain method. Inoti meters to kilometers, pane 1000, pana pamroda converter meters to kilometers. Saka kana makanyatso kubata, munoziva kuti kana tichibva kuchidiki meters tichienda kuma kilometers, we divide by 1000. Kureva iko kuti. Saka I taught the chain method, especially in tutorial 1. So if you want more on it, you can go to tutorial 1. But just a briefer. Panapa, the way you see that we have to divide by 1000, in a way, if you take 1000 meters, you have to divide it by 1000, 1 kilometer. And if from a smaller unit to a larger unit is dividing by 1000, so that from a larger unit to a smaller unit is what? Multiplying by 1000. 1000 yacho inamba yoiri pakati. That is just a summary of the chain method. Correct pano, it's going to be 1 meter. Inenge makunyora iri 1 over 1000 kilometers. You have converted 1 meter to kilometers. Then panapa, it's over. What about 1 second? So when we talk about 1 second, check tanga, I think this should actually be in your psychic, in your memory. 1 hour is 3600 seconds. 3600. Very important. You should know this. Inobva kupi, inobva futi pa chain method. But negate from a second to a minute, then a minute to an hour. From seconds to minutes, that's 60. Minutes to an hour, that's 60. If you multiply 60 times 60, dopat no wana 3600 seconds. Kureva iko kuti, inenge yaso kuti seconds to an hour is 3600. If we want to convert from seconds to hours, kubva pachidiki kuenda pane chihombe, it's dividing by number iri pakati 3600. Zvichireva izvo kuti panapa 1 second ari ma hours inenge iri 1 over 3600 hours, like that. Mruona mathematical thinking. Mathematics is more than a subject, it's a way of thinking. And mukatarisisa mchaona kuti every science, be it a life science, natural science, physical science, the language of the universe is mathematics. If you want to understand anything, you have to understand it mathematically. If you go to even social sciences like economics, business science, it's mathematics. Even in humanities, before you make a statement, you should check the statistics, and statistics are a produce of a mathematical language, a produce of a mathematical field, mathematical discipline. Saka maths dzakakosha. Kana tichida kuti Zimbabwe ibudirire, we must increase mathematical literacy. Because ZIMSEC, it's always below 40% pass rate ku O level. Zvichireva izvo kuti pa 100 vanyora 40 ndo vapasa, and this percentage is usually counted for vanyora 5 and more. Let us be real, kana munanyora 5 O levels and more muZimbabwe patorine maths, because maths is one of the required 5. Saka kureva kuti pa 100 vanonyora maths every year, 60 and more vanofoira, and a little over 30 ndo vanopasa. If we want to improve our nation, we have to improve mathematical literacy, and that is where the Math Hub comes in, because we want to teach mathematical thinking more than just to solve. I think there are easier ways of going about this, matrix teaching, but what I want to instruct on is mathematical thinking. Sorry for veering off. I am passionate about this. Let us get back to working. Saka kana tadaiso zorwa kuti tatova kilometers, but hatisati tane per hour, because per hour inoreva kuti per unit hour. Saka kuti tive per hour, tinenge takuti 1000 dividing into 1. Alright, we can do it like this. This is equal to, tinenge takuti 1 over 1000 dividing 1 over 3600, and tikada some units, this is actually kilometers per hour kana tikaisolva. So let us go on to solve it. Saka panapa tinenge takungoti 1 over 1000 multiplying 3600 over 1, and which is then, allow me kunyora nchidai, ndoda kusave space, but imi munonyora yenyu mchidzika. Saka ya masero anocancela. 10 into 10, that's 1. 10 into 36 is 3, comma, then into 626. Correct, this is going to be equal to 3,6 kilometers per hour. Remember, George, ndichiti munozogona ere kuziva kuti 1 meter per second iri equal to 3.6 kilometers per hour. Saka ndo mawaniro atinoita. You went by internet, ChatGPT or any AI model, and asked the prompt, what is 1 meter per second in kilometers per hour? The answer was 3.6 kilometers per hour. Where do we get it from this? Saka maona manje kuti 1 meter per second. Samogona kubva mati, that is 1 meter per second iri equal to 3.6 kilometers per hour. Like that. Todzoka ku question. Question iri kuda kuti titsvage 35 over 3 meters per second, tichinyora in kilometers per hour. Saka zvinongoreva pano ndezvekuti tichatora 35 over 3 like this. We are going to multiply it by 3.6 kuti ive in kilometers per hour. Kana muchida kunyanzi kuona kuti zvafamba sei panapa, tinenge tatora 35 over 3 meters per second toinyora as 35 over 3 times 1 meter per second. Then since tichida converter to kilometers per hour, tichabva tareplace part ya 1 meter per second with 3.6 kilometers per hour. So I know 35 over 3 times 3.6 kilometers per hour. ndo zvangoitika panapa. This is the thinking behind it. Okay, saka we have shown you what has happened. Let us now go to working. Saka tikachisolva this part tinenge tawana zvatiri kuda. Saka tinoisolva say this is paper 1. We have to be a little careful. Saka 35 over 3 times 3.6, it's actually, we can write it as 3 and 6 over 10. And it, of course, kilometers per hour, mogona usingonyora yuma units kokupedzisira. But 3.6 is 3 and 6 over 10, which is then 35 over 3 times 10 times 3, 30 plus 6, so it's 36 over 10. Tadzokera panapa, but 10 into 36. Then kuti tisolve is here 3 into 3, that's 1. Into 3 panapa, it's 1. Into 6, that's 2. Then we can use 5, kuti 5 into 10, that's 2, sorry. 5 into 10, it's 2. 5 into 35, it's 7. 2 into 2, it's 1. 2 into 12, it's 6. Saka what is 7 times 6, that's 42. Saka answer is 42 kilometers per hour. Check George answer ya mamuchwano kuti yakasiyana sei ne very divorced. 42 kilometers per hour. Saka 11 and 2/3 meters per second inenge iri 42 kilometers per hour. Okay, boat anomhanya chi world record rakasetwa na boat, I think in 9.56, you have to confirm this, meters per second. And so boat angachimanya at less than 10 meters per second. We can average 8 to 10 meters per second. That's the speed of the fastest man. To make it simpler, 10 meters per second. It's actually 9 point something meters per second. Okay. That's how fast men can be. Try to conceptualize. Of course, it's not a constant speed. Pane acceleration iripo. And we are going to learn about this in kinematics. But try to imagine 10 meters in a second. That's how fast men can be. That's wonderful. And but if you now start comparing needs, you are going to see that that's relatively slow. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to use method yatakashandisa initially to show you that it brings us to the answer still. So nchatanga ndambo clear kuside kunoku. Then I want to keep the answer then muione ichibubuda. That's the beauty of mathematics. You can use a different method coming to the same answer. Okay, saka B. Method ita in our tutorial 1, takat 11 and 2/3 meters per second. Takainyora, of course, let us convert it to a improper fraction, 35 over 3 meters per second. Ndokuti 35 over 3 meters per second inoreva kuti tine 35 over 3 meters ziri kudividwa ne 1 second. Part yekuti per second azvononzi per seconds, zanzi per second kureva kuti over 1 second ndosa zvinoreva. Okay, ndokubva tati takuda kutora 35 over 3 meters per second toinyora in kilometers per hour. 35 over 3 meters inenge iri 35 over 3. Remember kana chiconverter from meters to kilometers tino divider na 1000. Saka izvi ndo zvinenge zvichiti pachi kilometers over, then panapa 1 second inenge 1 over 3600 hour, like that. Okay, let me remove this part. Dongosiya answer chete dot me one chibuda. Alright, saka panapa manje tinenge takuti 35 over 3 times 1 over 1,000. And remember, this is kilometers over 1 and 1 over 3600. That's hours. Okay, so let us try to solve this to simplify it a little. Then 5 into 35 ndi 7, 5 into 10 ndi 2, go out into 1,000 ndi 200. So panapa tasarwa tina 7 over 200 times 3 ndi 600. Iri kudi kudivide 1 over 3600, which is 7 over 600 multiplying 3600 over 1. Then of course masero akachekana, 6 into 6 1 into 36 ndi 6, and 7 times 6 ndi 42, inenge irichi kilometers per hour. Zvafanana. Saka you can go about it like this, or you can use method yedu yataita yekutanga tamboconverter meters per seconds to kilometers per hour. Or if your memory really works well, maybe it's eidetic, munogona kutongobata this statement. It saves you time. Mukatongoziva kuti 1 meter per second is equal to 3.6 kilometers per hour, munotongoiweka ikabuda zvakanaka. So this is what we have for this question. So dear people, I am inviting you to join us in our school, the MathHub Mathematics Institute on Ascending. This is a school of mathematics. We teach mathematics, O-level maths, A-level pure mathematics. But of course we venture into other like subjects of mathematics. Like ku O-level we can also teach pure mathematics, statistics, mechanics, yaimbonzi additional maths kudara. Ku A-level we can also teach further mathematics. We can teach statistics, mechanics, engineering mathematics, and what have you. Our school primarily is made for maths repeaters. Saka a maths repeater is someone arikunyora maths for the second or anyth time. Hazvineyo kuti makanyora kangani kana kuti makapedzera kudzita rini. We can work together and make sure you get a pass, but we specialize in A distinctions. That is what we work towards. Tikazotadzawo hedu we go for a B, pazvonyanyisa kurema a C, but we work towards an A. Tinabasa kuti muri kubva kupi. We want to give you a distinction. And it's open also to those who are struggling in mathematics. You might be in Form 3, you might be in your lower 6, and you are finding mathematics a little difficult. Transition to maths is a big deal. When you transition from grade 7 to Form 1, to maths, that's a big deal. When you transition from Form 2 to Form 3, it's a big deal. And the worst deal is transitioning from O-level to A-level maths, because they are different worlds. What you take from O-level is basically arithmetic and algebraic skills. Saka, we work together privately through lessons and we make sure you pass. Question yatatoita hii, it's a question yakatokonekwa with a student ari in our class. So my lessons esamunoona for free on YouTube, they are tailor-made for other students who are in our private class. So we have a lot of policies which govern us in how we learn in this school. This lesson is because of what we call an error of principle, where a student fails a question because he or she did not understand a concept. So we boil down on that concept and try to explain it to the best of our ability. So you're welcome. Just WhatsApp us on +263 71 521 3310.